I am in a writing slump. I have been in a writing slump for about a month, and before that I was on writing hiatus for about 2 months, which was on purpose, but then the last month where I just wasn't able to get back into it was not on purpose. If you haven't heard me speak about this before, I am currently writing a fantasy series that I'm referring to as Project Seaside, and book 1 is with beta readers, and I've decided that while I'm waiting for book 1 feedback to return, I want to work on the second book. Of course, working on the second book is a lot easier said than done. I have been stuck in the brainstorming phase for a very long time. I've been brainstorming book 2 since I was still working on book 1, and I seem to be unable to move past that. And I realize brainstorming is really important, but I think I've gotten everything out of just sitting there and brainstorming that I'm likely to get at this point. I think if I want more information, I need a different approach of getting more information, which ideally should be working on an outline, but I seem to be completely unable to do that. For the first book, I took a discovery writing approach for drafts 1 and 2, and then for draft 3, I actually had an outline and I was working from that. I'd never worked from an outline before, and doing that was really helpful. So I kind of want to have an outline again for the second book, but I haven't written it before, and I don't seem to know how to write an outline without writing the book first. And it's not even that I don't have ideas, like I know what happens in the first third of the book at least, but I seem to be unable to bring myself to sit down and write the outline. Like there's just something in my brain that's stopping me from doing that. And I'm just generally struggling with not thinking I'm good enough to write this book, and feeling like I'm not ready to write this book, which is things that I've never had before. And I think part of the reason is that this is the first book I'm writing with the intention of publication. When I wrote book 1, I want to publish book 1 too, obviously. I'm not just gonna publish the sequel, but I didn't know that when I started writing it. And this time it just feels like so much scarier, like this actually matters. I want the book to be good. I want people to like it. I know at least one person is gonna read it, being Danny, because she's actually read my first book. And I don't know how to make myself sit down and write. And right now this is an even bigger problem than usual because, as you might be able to tell from the background, I'm actually in Spain at the minute. I'm on holidays for a whole 3 weeks, which is amazing. By the way, I love being here on holidays, but I can't edit videos while I'm here because I don't have my big computer. I can draw in my sketchbook, but I can't do any digital art because I don't have my big computer. So the main one of my hobbies that I can do from Spain and actually like do easily from Spain is writing, and I love writing when I'm here, but I can't seem to start. And it'd be such a waste to spend these 3 weeks of holidays being scared to get started rather than actually writing my book when I have so much free time compared to when I'm in England and I have to work. So I've come up with a plan. I really hope this works because I need this to work. Please, let this work. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ignore the fact that I don't have an outline yet and go ahead and write the first chapter. And we're gonna do that not in here where my thoughts are spinning wildly, but we're gonna go somewhere nice. We're gonna go to the seaside by the beach, and it's gonna be lovely and quiet, and I'm gonna look at the waves, and there's gonna be, you know, like a big space that there's enough physical space around me that I can give myself more mental space as well, if that makes sense. And hopefully I should be able to just do it and stop overthinking when I'm there. And the other thing that's gonna hopefully work in my favor here is the fact that I'm gonna be on a time limit because my battery could die at any moment. So I've got like a set amount of time where I can write, and then that's it, then I have to go home, which would be bad for multiple reasons because this place is an hour away. And then the other advantage of this is that I actually think much better when I'm walking. Since I'm gonna be walking for an hour to get there, I'm gonna be listening to my Project Side playlist and just try and get back into the right headspace of the story and try and figure out, because I know where chapter 1 ends, I don't know where chapter 1 starts. So we're gonna figure out where chapter 1 starts, and I have an hour to do that before I get there, and then I can write it. Really hope this works. Even if I then stop drafting and get back to outlining, I hope that at least it helps me kickstart that outlining without being so overwhelmed by it. But that's the plan. Let's go walk for an hour.
Close your eyes, get some rest. I'm by your side. Lay your head on my chest. I know you've had a really bad day, but I'm right here, it's gonna be okay. The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay. If all the blue skies fade to gray, we're gonna be okay.
Okay, so I managed to write the first page of the first chapter, and we're leaving because I am slowly burning and I also really need the bathroom. But I'm not going home until I finish the chapter. We're just going somewhere else where there's public bathrooms and also where I can buy water. Hello, I know what this looks like because I just said I wasn't gonna go home until I finished the chapter, but I am in fact not home. This is my mum's apartment. I am staying with my dad, so I'm counting this as not being home. Basically, I'm still outside. So once I got back to the main beach, I noticed on the signs that tell you like the time and temperature that it was 29 degrees outside, which is insane. It was only 20 degrees when I left the house this morning. My glasses keep steaming up. This is how hot it is. And I couldn't find a bench that was in the shade and empty. So I ended up just going into my mom's apartment. She's not here right now, she's at work. And this still counts as being outside because I don't have her Wi-Fi password to start with. There is a much smaller amount of distractions in here. Like I left all my sketchbooks and like my crochet and all my other projects at my dad's. So I can write in here, hopefully, and not get distracted. I'm going to try and do as much as I can on that first chapter from here, and then maybe I'll just finish it here and then go out for an ice cream afterwards, or I'll get like all the way to the end and then write the end from the beach. But I'm not sure I want to risk it because there really were no free spaces. Even in some of my favorite ice cream shops, all the tables were taken, so I couldn't even like order an ice cream and write there. But after I write the chapter, I think I've definitely deserved an ice cream, so we're gonna get ice cream after this. I didn't actually update you on how things went at the beach very much because it was really windy, so I already know I'm gonna have to like write subtitles and try and get those wind noises down because it's just gonna be impossible to hear me. But I think it went pretty well. It took me a little while to get started. I decided on the way there where the scene was gonna start and also what character's POV it was gonna be from, because I've been a bit back and forth between an existing character that's part of the scene or a new character that didn't have a point of view in book 1 but is gonna get one in book 2. And I decided to go for the new character, which means that I don't know how to write in their voice. I've never written in their voice before, so it felt like strange, like slipping into a new skin and trying to like, I don't know, didn't like it. I know her a bit already because she was a side character in the first book and we've seen her before, and I have her storyline for the second book more or less planned out, but I haven't actually written from her eyes before. Even though she was a character from before and I already knew her, I don't know the people around her because she's in a different team to my other characters. So the current stuff that I've written is very, very messy. I didn't want to stop and brainstorm names because I knew I had limited time because my battery was gonna die at any point. But yeah, like I think it went okay. I sort of got there in the end. I think I'm gonna have to rewrite the first half a page at least because I hadn't figured it out yet, but we'll do that later. It doesn't have to be done now. And yeah, like at this point I have the start of the chapter figured out and mostly written, and the end of the chapter I already had figured out from before. I'm still not entirely sure on like the middle of the chapter. There's a little gap in what happens in my head that I'm gonna have to figure out, and that's what I'm gonna have to do now. And I'm very tired. It's very, very hot. Even now that I'm in the shade it's better, but like I think I was in the sun too long this morning. Yesterday it was cloudy, so I thought I would be okay doing this today, and then this morning I saw the weather forecast was sun for the whole day and I thought maybe it'll change, we're gonna try it anyway, and it did not change. It's way too hot. This would happen so much easier yesterday when it was cloudy. I think at this point though, I'm just purposely rambling because I don't want to go ride, so I'm gonna go ride. As you can see, we are back home and I have had my celebration ice cream, so I officially finished the chapter. It's actually one day later because I was far too tired to film an outro yesterday, and I went for the ice cream this morning instead of yesterday because it ended up being like 2 p.m. and I hadn't had any lunch, so I thought, you know, maybe I shouldn't be having ice cream for lunch. Maybe I should be going home and eating proper food. I was out for a little over 4 hours yesterday, which admittedly half of that was spent walking, so it was only about 2 hours of writing time, but I got quite a lot done. I technically finished the chapter. It is a massive mess and I was very much leaving gaps and skipping scenes. I don't normally do that. I very much prefer writing without skipping anything, but it felt like the right thing to do, partially because I was absolutely starving and wanted to get it over with quickly. But yeah, this is like probably the most fast draft like writing I've ever done. Like, this is so messy and like missing things. It's not how I normally write at all. And it was fun and I'm glad that I tried it. I am still hesitating on whether I want to continue this approach and go for a really quick draft one and then just rewrite it again from scratch, which is sort of what I did last time in a way, but last time I wasn't skipping scenes. I just wrote the whole thing start to finish without skipping anything. It was terrible, but I wrote all of it. I was very much hesitating about that yesterday and just thinking like, okay, if I were to outline, like my main issues are that I don't know how the series ends because I had a couple of different ideas. I didn't know which one was better. All of them had problems with them. One of them was sort of my preferred one, but it had a lot of problems with it. And then if I don't know how the series ends, I can't know how book 2 ends because the style of book 2 is the same for all of those endings, but the ending is not. So I gotta figure out how the series ends if I want to figure out how the book ends. And last night I was trying to just figure out what to do next. You know, like I've written the first chapter, but do I want to write the second chapter? Do I want to go back to outlining? And when I woke up this morning, I was just not wanting to get out of bed. You know, I was comfortable, I was just lying there, and I saw of a way to fix all the problems that I've been having with my preferred series ending, which I wasn't sure I was gonna go for that option, but now I figured out how to solve the problems, I think I will pick that option. So I still don't know if outlining is the right way to go, but now that I have an end for the series, at least it feels more feasible and less overwhelming to outline the book. So I think I'm gonna give outlining another try and then figure out how I want to approach the series from there. And I was also thinking about how with my last book, I did outline the final rewrite that I did. However, when I got about halfway through to the book, I decided I didn't like my ending anymore and I scratched like 50 pages of detailed outline and rewrote the outline and then wrote the ending of the book like that. So if I can do that for draft 3, then there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to do that for draft 1. So any ending that I decide on now doesn't have to be the final decision. And that makes me feel better because I am far too stressed about how to end the series. The actual writing itself was really fun yesterday. It's just the decision making of where to take things that stresses me out. When I was just at the beach and like getting words out and going into his character's head and just writing this one scene and not stressing about what happens afterwards. It felt so good. Like I enjoyed that so much and I want to do more of that. So I'm gonna figure out how to approach the book as quickly as possible and then get back to writing. But I think I've rambled on for long enough now, so that's gonna be a separate video probably if I choose to vlog it. Thank you so much for watching. I know that I've changed my mind probably 500 million times about absolutely everything today and yesterday. I hope you enjoyed it regardless. I hope you enjoyed the aesthetic beach footage, and I was gonna say happy Christmas, but by the time this goes out it will not be Christmas anymore by far. So I hope you're having a wonderful January and I will see you soon. Bye bye.
But I'm right here, it's gonna